over the people from whom you owe a lot of money, in this case China and Europe. So clearly the IMF is upset and China is upset. That means even that 6 billion where we had the agreement is now in serious jeopardy, and we won't be able to proceed to restructure that amount. As bad as we are not going to restructure even the 3 billion, because government has been told to renounce this and post your renunciation on a stock exchange. And not in Lusaka Stock Exchange, but London Stock Exchange.
Thank you so much, Honorable for the presentation. We'll heard for ourselves what is really happening in this country. At this moment, I'll call upon Honorable Nyacha, who is going to speak to what is happening in the judiciary. I call upon him.
Thank you very much, Honorable Members of Parliament, Members of the Central Committee, Members of the Press. I just want to talk about the issue of the judiciary. I think we are all aware that the Judicial and Allied Workers Union of Zambia has issued threats of industrial disruption in the judiciary. I think that is a source of great concern, because if workers in the judiciary go on strike, it means that the dispensation of justice is going to be delayed, and the people are going to suffer. So I thought it was important that I must make a comment on that particular matter, especially coming from a strong union background. I've associated with the trade union, I think, almost 2 decades. So issues of labor are very, very close to my heart. So I think the threat by the judicial workers is valid. In the sense that I think recently, when we were debating the Emolument Commission in the House, I made it very, very clear that this Emolument Commission is a receipt of industrial disruptions in this country, because that law actually undermines the collective bargaining process. Zambia is the signatory to the ILO Convention 98, right to bargain. The Industrial Labour Relations Act also has provision for trade unions to bargain freely without any interference from any portals. But the Emolument Commission now has become a hindrance. It doesn't make sense for Emolument Commission to be deciding parameters. Then what is the motive, what is the purpose of having trade unions in this country? Because if the Emolument Commission will be telling you that, no, here you can only negotiate up to 5%, surely, do we need trade unions to exist anymore? We don't need that. So I am wondering how the labor movement in this country allowed this kind of law. I don't think in our days we would have allowed this Emolument Commission to pass. I don't know why ZCTU and Federation of Free Trade Unions, who sits on the Labour Tripartite Consultative Labour Council, allowed this particular law to pass through, because this is undermining the collective bargaining process. So it has not taken long. There's that threat by the judicial workers, which I had mentioned on the floor of the House. So I think it is important that that particular Emolument Commission, the government must quickly bring it back to Parliament, so that we make necessary amendments, so that it can only deal with constitutional office holders and possibly those directors, MPs in parastatal organization and other state enterprises, not workers who are represented by the trade union. The situation in our country is very precarious. As the Honorable Kafai has mentioned, the cost of living is beyond the reach of many Zambians, which is the opposite of what the UPND promised the people of Zambia. They said that once UPND comes to the government, life will be better. But after removing PF, life has become worse for the majority of the Zambians, not only the workers. Recently, the Bank of Zambia increased the minimum statutory reserve ratio to 14.5%. It means that now, that is both on local and foreign deposits. It means that even for the private sector to participate in the economic activity of the country, it is going to be very, very hard. Kwacha has been depreciating at a very, very alarming rate. And yesterday I brought this matter in Parliament under a matter of urgent public importance. But according to the Speaker, that was not an urgent matter. But you know, this is a matter which concerns every Zambian. Zambia's economy is import-oriented. So when you start, when you have depreciation of the Kwacha at that alarming rate, then the people of Zambia has to brace themselves for more economic hardships. So this is the situation, and as the Patriotic Front members of Parliament want to call that we need the financial independence in the judiciary. If the judiciary is dependent on the executive, then the judiciary will not be independent. So we want financial independence in the judiciary so that the judiciary can be able to decide its own conditions of service. So in the nutshell, I am sympathetic and I want to offer solidarity to the workers in the judiciary, in terms of trade unions, even in the public sector, that they are having difficulties for them to negotiate. For example, ZESCO the union negotiated in January this year, but the Emolument Commission only declared the collective agreement in September this year. I think that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and I don't think there's any trade union movement anywhere in the world which can allow such a thing happening in this country today. So the trade union leaders must wake up from their slumber and represent the workers. They were elected to represent the workers in this country. They are not there to live in comfort homes. Some of us put our heads on the chopping board in the labor movement. We lost employment for the sake of the workers of this country. And I move with my head high because I never compromised. And I want to challenge the current group of trade union leaders that they must be ready to put their head on the chopping board. Because trade unionism is not for leaders with chicken hearts. Trade unionism needs people with strong hearts, thick skin. You must be ready to be fired. You must be ready to be imprisoned. In other countries, they must be ready to die. That is what you should expect when you are a trade union leader. But today, the trade union leaders of today, they are living in comfort homes. Union members of Parliament now are operating like union leaders. We are talking about issues of the workers when the labor movement themselves, they are quiet. So what is the relevance of these trade union leaders in this country? You see, so to me, I blame the workers. The workers of this country have been very docile. They have allowed these union leaders to preside over the affairs when they have got the power. You have got the power to withdraw union contributions from these workers, from these union leaders, so that they wake up and start fighting for the rest of the workers. So in those few ways, I feel that I'm very sympathetic with the workers of this country, and I support that strike action so that the government can respond to their concerns.
Thank you so much.
Honorable Member, maybe since he has touched issues of labor, maybe before Honorable Kapyanga comes in, let me chip in. He has talked of trade unions who are not helping in the collective bargaining. See, where we're coming from, trade unions used to bargain according to what the employees tell them to do. But nowadays you find that it's the trade unions now who want to face the employees to say, just take this percentage, you'll be fired. That is not needed because these people, they pay, they subscribe to these trade unions. That's why even in terms of pension benefits, when you check our colleagues overseas there, the recovery of the lost income is 50% plus. Us is only at, you see, when you check employees like these ones who are specifically in the multifaceted economic zones, I've given that example because it is heated. Government wants to amend the Employment Act number 3 of 2019. You find that they only replace lost income at 35% through gratuity and surveillance pay. Okay? So now, the proposal, Honorable, in terms of those trade unions, since people subscribe to those trade unions, we should have a third pillar pension from them so that we strive to retain the lost income at 50% or 45%. Then, the Ministry of Labor itself, they are supposed to, is an economic ministry, which is supposed to foster decent pay, decent work, productivity, efficiency, and industrial harmony. Now, the same ministry is supposed to foster what I have highlighted. You find that they are submitting to the nation that Employment Code Act number 3 of 2019, which introduced the gratuity and surveillance pay, is problematic in terms of these investors who are in the multi-facility economic zones. In short, they don't want them to pay for the workers who are working in the multi-facility economic zones, those casual workers. Because 95% of those are just casual workers who are earning about 1,050 kwacha. Last time I did demonstrate, in terms of gratuity, these guys, they are just getting about 262 kwacha 50 anyway. And those who would be likely to work for 20 years, they will only get 63,000 kwacha, which is not a decent pension. So, as a government in power, we want to urge them to view the right to pension from a human rights perspective, meant to preserve the dignity of a retiree. In this country, we don't have a universal pension. We don't have universal pension. So that is the only way people can live with dignity after leaving employment. They've also, in the 2024 minimum wage, the minister is on record encouraging workers to pay what they can afford, either in terms of hours worked or days worked. What kind of a government? What social security aspect? Because that's a Minister of Labor and Social Security. What social security are they providing if we can quote them on record to say encouraging workers to, employers to be paying per hour worked? That is not accepted. Me who's coming from Sakile, even employees that have interacted with in this country, they expected them even to abolish SI 48 of 2020, which is a COVID, that was a COVID law, okay? An employee can be declared redundant without notice. This law is sacrificing workers. COVID now has become a new norm. So if we are working to improve the welfare of workers, we expected them to abolish this because COVID does no longer exist. Then coming to mining, I think just on Thursday, last Thursday, yesterday, the day before yesterday, the Minister of Mines was on the floor of the House saying that they've not given incentives. They have given a lot of incentives, a lot of benefits that will come of that. Nothing. It's just empty like, oh, we want to hit 3 million metric tons. Then what? After hitting 3 million metric tons. So that's what I'm saying. It's an empty policy, it's a limping policy, misdirected, because no one knows those who are benefiting to this policy. None of them is investing in copper production, because we should have seen all those. Maybe there should have been a condition for any mining company to benefit. They should invest in the copper mining. And the government keeps giving example of Congo. We are performing better than Congo. Congo has got 55 mines producing 2.4 million. We have 13. We are producing 850,000. So mathematically, if you calculate, so even that reference, it shows you that you are trying to copy from someone who is not doing better than you. So we want seriousness in the mining sector, because mining is the anchor of our development in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Make that addition.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Just maybe to say one or two things over what they discussed. There are so many reasons which the UPND government, I think, can learn from PF. There is a reason why PF government didn't enact the Emolument Act. These are some of the reasons now these conflicts we are having. Even us here at Parliament, we have been affected by the same Emolument Act, which, if not all members of Parliament are not happy with. Because even us, we are supposed to be independent from all these other groupings. But it's like now we are being controlled, even what we have, even when it comes to increment of our salaries. The same Emolument Commission, it's also interfering with the works of Parliament. So these are things which they can learn from and see why PF didn't enact some of these acts. At this juncture, let me call upon Honorable Let me call the Honorable for Mbika to add up on the issue of what is happening when it comes to compensation of, I would say, UPND cadres who have issues with our courts. Honorable Kapiano, I call upon you.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to the media, good afternoon, Honorable Members. The UPND has fashioned a very dangerous strategy of siphon state resources, empowering their members and cadres. I say so, premised on the fact that in the past 2 years, we have seen an increase in the number of UPND cadres who are being compensated through what they are calling consent judgments. It is very worrisome. At a point where our people in rural areas need basic services such as medicine, small bridges, and even physical farm and food support program, the money which is supposed to be used for that is being used to compensate a few. And what is so surprising about this consent judgment is that they are dealing with cases that were discontinued through what is called the nolle prosequi. That is not an acquittal. So what if in the future these cases are restarted by competent investigative wings? These monies will not be recovered by government. These cadres would have actually squandered the money. I'll give you another example of a case involving a former special advisor to the president for politics, Kaiser Zulu. The matter is still very active under the criminal procedure. In court, it's still very active. On the other hand, the people that claimed to have been assaulted by Kaiser Zulu went to court. They claimed compensation, and they have been compensated through a consent judgment. We have Honorable Mumbipi who was incarcerated for more than 100 days. She has not been compensated. 300 days, she has not been compensated. We have Ungo, the late Jackson Ungo, who was our patriotic front chairperson for Northwestern Province, was killed on the 4th day in 2021. His family has not been compensated. Even those who were arrested before his death, some of them were pardoned before they were released through a presidential pardon. Even then, they were just incarcerated for manslaughter. My own brother Innocent from Northmead, those who know Northmead Market, I have a brother there, whose eye was gouged out by UPND cadres in 2021 because his young brother is a politician. He has not been compensated. We have a number of our people, a number of Zambians who are being abused by state agencies, including the police. They have not been compensated. But why are we seeing a trend where just a few people from a few places are being compensated? This is daylight looting of state resources. And I want to appeal to the Minister of Justice, just like I did on the floor of the House. They exist for the sole purpose of serving the Zambian people, regardless of their political affiliation. I have people in Namwali. I have people in Kishara. We have people in the station. We have people in the Dunumwes who are being killed by wild animals. Their families are not compensated. Government claim they do not have money when it comes to those poor people. But because they are stone-thrown cadres were arrested at some point for whatever wrong they did, they are being compensated. It is a government for the rich and the connected ones. Those poor people from Chinga province, poor people from Bika, they can be abused, but they want to be compensated. These monies that they are giving to their cadres, these monies that they are spending on buying off ward councillors, thereby inducing by-elections, are monies that can be used to deliver essential services to our people. Misplaced priorities by this government, which is worse than those scammers who claim to have Indarama Shavalan. We have a youth in Chitagombo, called YME. He's been arrested several times and now he's been in detention for a month. YME want to be compensated because he's being arrested for speaking for his fellow poor youths in Chitagombo. The youths who do not have jobs. Those ones who were lied to that when you vote for us, we'll give you jobs. Instead of giving YME a job, YME is being arrested. He is in detention. He's been in detention for more than a month now. And no one is speaking for YME. Yet the same YME spoke for his fellow poor people in Chitagombo when he questioned government why they would not reduce the minimum prices. We also had 2 of our youth in Kanyama. When I say our youth, I mean our children who were killed allegedly by UPND cadres. And those ones who killed those 2 youths have been released on a presidential parole. Their families have not been compensated. This is but a strategy to siphon state resources and empower their cadres. The only thing left which can save the UPND from the wrath of our people is to call for early elections, so the Zambian people are peacefully given an opportunity to go and evaluate the decisions that they had made in 2021. We cannot continue on this trajectory where the people were put in positions to foster development are using state resources to empower their own cadres. Having said that, I want also to appeal to the Zambian people. That please speak for yourselves. You did your part. You elected for these people. It is also your time now to speak and demand for what they had promised you. As here we are doing our part, we are speaking for you, the people that you elected. But you also do your part. You cannot have institutions such as NGOCC siding with lawbreakers instead of siding with the people that are defending the law. Here where we are, a few people have constituted themselves into a constitution amendment commission. Very soon we will have a bill sponsored by those people to amend the Republican Constitution. It has never happened since we got independence. Even in Kaunda's own madness, that would not take place. Why is it happening now? And we have NGOCC siding those who are breaking the law. We would not call them names, but they should be ready to answer to the Zambian people. Why did they side with the Registrar of Societies when she stood to defend the law? Here, like I have stated, we have the so-called team of experts who have been constituted to look at what they are calling non-contentious issues in the Republic Constitution. And they want to amend the Constitution without the involvement of the people. We, as Patriotic Front members of Parliament, have stated, and vehemently so, that we are not going to be part of that kangaroo process. The Constitution of the Republic of Zambia is a preserve of the Zambian people, and it cannot be amended without their involvement. Mr. Moderator, I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maybe one of my director before you come in, Honorable Kapenda has talked about constitutional amendments which are underway. Where we are coming from, remember, under the PF regime, they wanted to amend the constitution. Some stakeholder engagements were done at different levels, but then the big challenge that came, including the UPND, when they were going around and other stakeholders they joined hands with, was that there was no wider consultation. So now, if a process that Honorable Kapyanga has spelled out, where other people have just constituted themselves into a small group without wide consultation to take the interests of various groups, then where are we going and what was the campaign for? Because I'm sure you, the media gathered here, you were there that time before, because that was what they were saying. So why are they not developing modalities to widely consult? So the people of Zambia, whether contentious or non-contentious issues, there should be a wider consultation, because they shot Bulletin based on that fact. There was no any other fact that they advanced. The draft of Bulletin is all over. It's in public all over. Even now, people can go and we challenge everyone to go and open a Bulletin. Let them see those issues they were advancing. That no, they want to increase the term, they want to do what? They were not there in the Bulletin. So we want them to do a wider consultation, more than it was during Bulletin times. There were a lot of stakeholders engagement. It was widely consulted, but then still they contended that still that was not wider consultation. So we expect them to do a more wider than the PF did when they wanted to amend the constitution during that time. So that's what I wanted to add, because we want to remind the people of Zambia on what grounds Bulletin was short, because the contents they were alleging the PF to have put there, they were not there. So let them widely consult so that we see how far or to what extent they will go. Thank you very much, Honorable Director.
Thank you so much. We're almost coming up to the end of our interaction. At this point, let me just call upon Honorable Kafwaya to just wind up with all what has been discussed.
Thank you so much, my brother, my honorable brother. I think it just remains for me now to say thank you to Honorable Mutayachalo, and thank you to Honorable Vyuma Karogo, and to Honorable Kapyanga for what you have shared with the media today. And as I thank you, let me just reflect on some of the issues that my colleagues have elaborated. I think Honorable Mutayachalo was unequivocal. He offered his solidarity to the judiciary, and I want to join him in offering that solidarity. But of course, not just to the judiciary. I think that public workers in all the three arms of government are suffering right now. Public workers who are in the executive and those who are in the legislature are suffering. There is no question about that. And I want to include you in this solidarity. I want to clearly say to you that the Patriotic Front Party is with you, and of course we are suffering together, and together we can make a difference. But most importantly, I would like to offer our solidarity to the Zambian people, those who are suffering the most, the poor Zambian people. We are with you as the Patriotic Front Party. We are praying to God who never fails, that God's light may shine in the darkness, so that people who plan in the dark can be able to have sympathy for the suffering majority Zambian people. Honorable Kalogo speaks about these policies which are not yielding. Today, and I spoke very clearly about the depreciating kwacha. The kwacha is now listening to the truth, and its response is what reflects the truth, not UPM. And the response is that currently we have very poor economic governance, we have extremely poor political governance, and evidence abound everywhere you go. You will see that there is bad mining policies, so the mining governance is the worst of all time. This is why Honorable Kafuma spoke about the decline in production. And we know that agricultural governance is at the poorest right now. In the past 2 years, we have seen declining productivity in agriculture. So, no one really is investing in copper mining, Honorable Kalogo stated clearly. And it looks to me that no one is doing any meaningful investment in agriculture. So we are in for a very, very difficult period as a nation. If UPND does not change, we are in serious trouble. And Honorable Kapianga, finally talks about a strategy to enrich UPND supporters by consent judgments. These are things which are clear for everyone to see. We just call upon you people to open your eyes and ears wider so that you see through the intention of these government actions. Honorable Kapianga speaks clearly, and he says this money being wasted could go into the health sector to provide medicine for our sick population. But what do we see in medicine procurement? You procure drugs from India, those drugs can't be used because they are impotent, and Zambia refuses to use that. So that medicine has to be recalled. At what cost? What is even the process of procurement? What we have seen is that these people are using single sourcing. You go and single source medicine which is bad, medicine which cannot be used. You pay money to a supplier supplies medicine which is bad, which cannot be used, and so you have wasted money. But again, instead of using the little money that has remained to put into proper medicine, you go and put into UPND carters by way of these consent judgments. I think this is really very unfortunate. You see, the other thing that my honorable brother mentions is the buying of councillors. Listen, there is no need to promote politics now. Abantu bale chula. Even where you are promoting bad elections by buying off councillors, the people who live in those areas are looking for other solutions. They want you to give them fertilizer. They want you to provide an environment that promotes commerce and trade, so that people are able to survive. So stop buying councillors. You are simply wasting your time. Honorable Kapianga has appealed to the Zambian people. Speak for yourselves, he says. And in speaking for yourselves, don't speak like NGOCC, because NGOCC is supporting people who are breaking the constitution. You understand? You don't speak for yourselves by supporting those who are breaking the law. You support those who are actually upholding the law, like the lady who was at the Registrar of Societies, who supported the law. Obviously, some cases have been mentioned, and people are being killed by wild animals who can't get compensation from this government because the government says it has no money. Now, when the government has got no money, how is it that they are entering into bad deals? How is it that the government is procuring imported drugs? There are issues of drugs procured from Egypt. The story hasn't started. It will soon start. Even that medicine from Egypt is not registered in our country. And the people who are patriotic are saying, this medicine you have brought in from Egypt is unregistered, it can't be used. So procure from India, bad procurement. You procure from Egypt, bad procurement. What type of a government are you? I just want to end by saying that as a country, as things stand now, we are in serious trouble. We are in serious trouble because these bad deals are likely to continue for a long time to come unless UPND changes its course. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you so much. We've just come to the end of our interaction. All I can say is thank you to the media and to the people who are watching. We do appreciate. And if there are any questions, maybe from the media, which they would like to ask the panel, we are free to ask.
My question is away from what was just been discussed, but it's about the 10-day ultimatum for former leaders to surrender vehicles to the Secretary saying issued by, I don't know if I can say the peer faction. What's your take on that?
Well, we are busy discussing very serious national issues. We can't be drawn into another discussion, of course, with due respect of people that do not constitutionally recognized offices. And suffice to say, matters are not arising from that kind of reporting. So we wait for the due process of the law to take its course. Even those vehicles, if actually do exist, we will know at that particular time. But what we have is a patriotic front led by the former Republican President, Edgar Chakwarungu. That is the status quo. Thank you so much.
I could add that for us, we want to respect the law. We want to respect the courts. We want to respect the judiciary. And issues that are subject to this are not issues that we want to draw ourselves into. We want to demonstrate that we can respect the law, we can respect institutions of governance, and that this is an image that the Patriotic Front wants to portray to the Zambian people, because this is who we are. We are not people who can support lawbreakers, and anyone who breaks the law is an enemy of the Patriotic Front. We can't go into that. Thank you so much.
I still believe it's but I don't think the information that we know, I'm not saying what this country, the president is not and the
Come closer, come closer.
Just speak up.
information and media has been on the way from saying to say you have now gotten into the habit of offering checks and balances without giving us evidence. Do you have something to back that the president is actually getting paid?
Okay, so I will direct you to go to PEMIC. Okay, I will direct you to go to PEMIC. You can issue a press query, not redirect you, but advise. You can issue a press query to the paymaster. The paymaster is the Minister of Finance. He will tell you in no uncertain terms. If the Minister of Finance wants to retain part of his, part of what we knew him as a credible man, he will tell you that HH has been getting paid from the day he became president up to now. He gets paid. So the issue is that public finance information at PEMIC is public, and you as a media, you are free to go there.
You may correct
Yes.
where you said was given a general statement indicating that the checks and the balances we are offered, we have no evidence.
There is no evidence.
Everywhere the evidence, just in case of the mineral I was talking about, in terms of the dollar, you saw towards elections when they implemented, when they stopped deducting the mineral. So the PF got somewhere around $650 million, which reduced the dollar to somewhere 15 point something, where people are saying, no, it's politics. That was the first payment which arose from that, from that mineral. So we speak with evidence when we are speaking. So we want them to reverse. Even during Mwanawasa time, we had the window for tax. You saw how the dollar was performing. 2.8. That's how the dollar was performing. When Rupiah Banda and MMD, or Rupiah Banda became president, he appointed the minister, the Honorable Moscoto, who was the current Minister of Finance. And immediately, what did he do in the first budget? He abolished window for tax. Dollar again started going down. This is what he has done again after UPND assuming power. President Takande has appointed the Honorable Stumbeko Moscoto. What did he do in his first budget? He makes mineral royalty deductible. Dollar again starts going up. So, what kind of evidence would they want as we provide checks and balances? Because that is very clear. These are issues that we have worked on. Let me come to the issue of production. In the 2000s, after privatization, that was the policy which was taken to raise production. It was raised to 750,000 metric tons. We never balanced our budget. We never funded our development using the budget. Employment levels kept going down. For example, KCM, under Vendetta, they took over when employment stood at 22,000 people. At a time, government was grabbing the mine, the PF government, it was at 4,600. So, what evidence? Because the numbers do not lie. Everything has got numbers. Even now, they've said, we want to increase production to 3 million metric tons. Where is the research report? Where is the study report? Which is going to show what made us fail in that policy, why we didn't benefit as a country, and the improvements they are making for it to strike a difference. That's why when we say it's an empty policy, we took that route before. So now, to go the same route, where is the research report indicating our failures and the improvements we have made for us to achieve? Thank you very much. I needed to make that clarification.
Would you like me to add on proof? Because I think the aspect my honorable colleague has handled in your question is something that appeared as though I ignored it. I think I just didn't appreciate it fully. But my colleagues and I have spoken about specific issues. Okay? Very specific issues. Is it not true that medicine was brought from India? Which medicine cannot be used? Is it not true that medicine was bought from Egypt, which medicine cannot go on the market? Is it not true that FISIP management, everyone complains across the country? I saw my honorable colleague from Wembeshi just the other day on the floor of the house, where they were promised 8 bags. The UPNDMP, they were promised 8 bags, but they are giving them six bags. I can tell you in Lunde, people are receiving at most 1 bag. You understand? So are these not very, very clear? Is it not true that 2 youths were killed in Kanyama? Is it not true that Kungo was killed? Those 2 youths in Kanyama, the supporters of AF being compensated, their families? The answer is no. Has Kungo's family been compensated? The answer is no. Wasn't Kumbipiri incarcerated for over 300 days? Yes, she was. And Enole was entered on the day she was supposed to receive a judgment. So these are issues. Isn't it true that UPND has employed an overage Auditor General? Is that not true? Contrary to the Constitution, not just any law but the Constitution. Is it not true that they are looking to amend the constitution through what they are calling non-contentious articles. Now, if I ask you, who should determine which articles are non-contentious? Because for me, if you ask me, the article which talks about the employment of the Auditor General is not contentious. It's so straightforward, but it has been made contentious. So if it has been made contentious, who then is going to determine that these particular bills or these particular articles are not contentious? Clearly, my brother, we speak issues that are important to the nation, and we speak based on integrity. We have no time whatsoever to be like integrity. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. This is where we come to the end of our